Hello, Calvary Gospel. Good to connect with you again this Wednesday for our devotional. And I'm excited to share what God has been sharing with me about hearing His voice, being able to listen to, identify the voice of God, being able to tune into His voice so that we know what steps to take, what direction to move in as He begins to speak into our souls, into our hearts. And I wanted to talk about specifically about the time we currently are in when it comes to hearing the right voice. And this is interesting to understand because right now the world has so many things that it's screaming, so many things that it's voicing. And sometimes as believers, we can get caught up in all the noise that's happening around us. And sometimes the voice of God seems to drown out. Or sometimes we can't seem to identify or establish or pinpoint, is this God? Is this God speaking to me? Or is this just another idea or another person or something outside of what I'm supposed to hear? And I want to jump into John 10, really dive into and see here what God says in this one parable and in this one imagery that He's painting for the disciples about us being the sheep, us the believers being the sheep, and being able to identify and hear the voice of Jesus, knowing that there are other voices out there, but there's only one voice that we answer to. There's only one voice that we respond to. Let's go here in John 10. It says, "Most assuredly, I say to you, he who does not enter the sheepfold by the door, but climbs up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber." Jesus, what He's describing here is a sheep in a pen with some kind of barrier around. And there is something or someone trying to climb over that barrier and enter the sheepfold. And Jesus describes this thing or person trying to climb through the barrier as a thief or a robber. And it began to resonate with me because that's the same way that we operate with the things we hear. And God has established and given us a protection over our mind that represents that fence. And when we allow certain voices to come in that aren't the voice of God, they act as a thief and a robber. And what do? They steal our joy. They steal our peace. They steal the direction that God has wanted us to head in. Jesus is reminding the disciples to be wary of that. And then in verse 2 it says, "But he who enters the door is the shepherd of the sheep." Jesus is saying whoever enters the door, the only way into this pen is the true shepherd. To him the doorkeeper opens, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. Jesus is saying that there is something special about who enters the door. That is Jesus. It is something special about Jesus and the sheep. There's a special relationship there that He's saying that the sheep know my voice. The sheep are able to identify who I am, that I am their shepherd. I am not there to steal and destroy and to be a thief and a robber. I am there to protect and to comfort the sheep in the pen. And when He brings out His own sheep, He goes before them, and the sheep follow Him, for they know His voice. Yet they will by no means follow a stranger, but will flee from him, for they do not know the voice of strangers. And it's such an interesting wrap up to what Jesus was saying there. He's painting a picture to us believers that how important it is to identify the voice of Jesus. And what does that take? That takes communion with the Father. That takes being in constant relationship. That means being in the Word. The Word, it will do something in your soul. It will refine the earbuds in the frequencies of your heart, where you will only respond to what Jesus is saying. And from that position, it's become so easy and so natural to filter out what the world is screaming or what ideas the world has to offer that sometimes might seem like a good idea. Like, wow, that's actually not a bad idea. Maybe that's something, maybe God's speaking that. But it's important for us to take whatever we're hearing and bring it to the Word, line it up with the Word. I know Pastor Tom, he shared this past Sunday about how the world offers so many different avenues, so many different options. It's so important to take whatever the world is offering and line it up with the Word. Is it Jesus? Is it the one way through that door? And are you willing to respond to the shepherd and follow him, like Jesus is painting the picture for us here in John. If we flip to Romans 16, it says here, but they do not all obey the gospel. For Isaiah says, Lord, who has believed our report? So then faith comes by hearing, and hearing the word of God. There's something about hearing the voice of God, something about hearing exactly what he is trying to say, knowing and being able to discern through relationship, through the word, that yes, this is God speaking to me. That's why it is so important that by faith and by the hearing of our faith and hearing the word of God, it is so important to be in the word of God, to be in the presence of God. It's in that position where we, like I said, we tune the eardrums of our spirit to hear only that what God is hearing. And it's interesting, it's the same idea that how the human eardrum works. We have a spectrum that we are able to respond to, our ears respond to. And if you compare our eardrums to there's certain animals like dogs, they're able to pick up frequencies that the human ear cannot. And sometimes that's how we operate. Sometimes we're only set on our spirit's only set to hear a certain frequency, and we might not hear what God is trying to say. That's why it's important to be in the presence of God, to be in the Word, to open up the ears of our spirit, to hear that spectrum, to hear that full spectrum, to hear those frequencies that God is speaking through into your life. And I hope you're blessed. I hope you're reminded to be in the Word, be in the presence of our Savior, and to be able to hear what he has for you in this season going forward. I hope you're blessed. Have a wonderful Wednesday.